from Elisha. That's Gehazi. He had an opportunity. And this morning, whilst I kept reflecting over this sermon, or throughout the week, I kept reflecting over this sermon. I asked myself, how did Elisha come about the double portion he received? It didn't come with ease, but he followed Elijah through until the very end, when he was caught up, before he received that double portion. That is loyalty. When all the prophets, the sons of the prophet, were saying, oh, your master is going to be taken away today, we will see how it will end with you, he stayed focused. He stayed with the master. When even they were crossing the Jordan River, he didn't know how he will return back, but he stayed true to his master to the very end, and he received that double portion from the Lord. Brethren, loyalty pays. Anytime we stand truthful and faithful unto the cause of God, you surely will be rewarded. You surely will be rewarded. So Gehazi had an opportunity to become more powerful than Elisha. But he went after silver, he went after servants, he went after things that he didn't need to go after. Because when he appeared before the prophet Elisha, he asked him one question: is it time to go for silver and servants? And I made this clear last week that, you see, there is time for everything. There was a time that Jesus sent his disciples without purse, without anything. There was a time that he said, go with your purse alone. So at that particular time, Gehazi went for silver when it was not time for him to go for silver. He ran ahead of his master because his master refused to receive the gifts that the captain of Syria brought unto him. Brethren, it's a great lesson. It's a great lesson. Because there are times that your situations would make you look somewhere. But is it time to go for silver and to go for servants? Is it time to compromise on your faith? And the prophet said that because you have gone for those gifts, that same disease that was upon Naaman the Syrian will come upon you, and not you alone, but there will be an overflow. Your children, your descendants will be afflicted with leprosy. The Bible says immediately. When we become disloyal and run after things that we ought not to run after, there are things that will come along with it. Brethren, the word of God is truth. The word of God. These things were written for our example. And the word of God is truth. Sometimes it is difficult. That is the truth. It is difficult. It is difficult. That is the truth. But I tell you the truth also. When we obey him, he shows himself faithful. I remember I was working. After school, I stayed home almost 7 months. And I got a job. Working somewhere. And I heard clearly that the Lord said I should come down for training for the work that he has called me to do. It was a difficult thing. It was a difficult thing. But I took that decision with consultation with somebody I have been with for years. I told him this is what the Lord is saying. He said, wait. The time he realized I was in Accra, because I knew that it was time. And I was coming to live with my mom in the chamber and hall. And when you had come to that chamber, there was this 3-in-1. That was my bed. That was my sitting place. That was my prayer room. I spent time there. So sometimes we are faced with such situations to make us to become disloyal, to disobey the things that the Lord has instructed us. Do you know something? I came not knowing what was awaiting me, but the Lord was preparing people to support me whilst I was coming. The money I saved, when I touched ground, not too long, my brother had an accident, and they had to keep him at 37 intensive care unit, and I was paying the bills. So every money I had saved, that at least it will keep me for about a year or month, was used to pay bills, and I was down to zero with nothing. Sometimes I'll come to church. Those who came by this way, Logos Rema, say I walk through the bush to the place, and I will walk back. Nobody knew. And sometimes somebody will walk to me and say, God says I should give you this for transportation. And I'm like, okay, if God says it, who am I to say no? I take it. Sometimes I have people like my boss who will drop me at next door, then I walk through the barracks to the house. Stayed like that.